we'll start with our presidential debate now. And along the same lines, I will let the candidates introduce themselves. It's recording.
Oh, okay.
I just turned it off so you don't start yourself.
Oh.
I'll let our presidential candidates introduce themselves. They have a minute and a half to tell you who they are and about their platform. And so we'll start with Harsef.
My name is Harsef Oshan. I'm a second-year art student pursuing a major in political science. I have worked with the Arts Undergrad Society as I first joined in my first year, where I was the social director of the first-year committee, and then I took the role of interim first-year rep, where I represented first-year students and their issues. This year, I've been the social coordinator for the whole undergrad society in organizing events for them. I have a lot of other experiences on campus, a lot of leadership positions that I've held on campus that also helped me to be better at this position. My platform, what I want to do with the AUS, is involving clubs more in the Arts Undergrad Society, streamlining internal processes, trying to work on arts pride, working together, and advocating for a new space, and also renovating the space that we already have, Mickelson Art Student Space. Thank you.
Jenny?
Hi, so my name is Jenny Chen. I'm running for AUS president. I've been in the AUS for the past 3 years, holding a variety of positions. I currently sit on the executive committee as vice president of student life. I have 3 very clear points for what I wish AUS to be like. One is renovating our student space. So what I mean by that is getting new equipment, redecorating the space, making it a more closer and a more warmer environment for students to be in, and for students that really know that AUS appreciates them. Second of all, I want to engage students and also really just give back to the students. So we've been doing a lot of that this year, especially through my portfolio. We've been trying to be looking through our budget and trying to make sure as much money as possible is able to go back into students. Third of all is I think we should be advocating for arts-centered issues. So I think a lot of students don't actually realize that AUS is there to represent them in other organizations, and I think that through better promotion and really surveying students, we can find out the key factors that students are really concerned about, and we help represent them.
Fantastic. And Jeff?
And I'm Jeff Boudreau. I am a third-year classical studies major, basically. I've been involved with the AUS now for just the past year as a club rep. I'm co-president of SINNERS, the Classical, Near Eastern, and Religious Studies Student Association. As well, I've been involved with Imagine Day, Tri-Mentoring, numerous other little projects. And basically, my platform is to leave a legacy. I want to look at actually building a solely student-based building at Buchanan for a new student space, basically creating a new mass, and basically having a central location for all the clubs and everything to have offices so that we're not just floating entities, basically, that no one knows how to reach us, making it a central point for all of arts to gather around. As well, I want to look at having more events at current Mass, basically looking at weekly, every Friday events, so that art students know that every Friday they can come to Mass and have something to do. And thirdly would be taking a look at some of the internal positions, such as general officer, and maybe assigning it an actual portfolio and looking at expanding the position, basically.
Awesome. So we'll get into our debate. I have 5 questions for you. And we'll start with, what is your big picture goal for the society over the next year? Where do you think it is, and where do you want it to be by the end of your term? So we'll start with Jenny.
Okay, so I think in the past, we've seen AUS struggle a little bit with identity, especially after the loss of ACF. But I think these, throughout my past 3 years at AUS, I think I've seen it grow a lot, and I think it has potential to grow even more. So some of the issues that I'm concerned with is really just engaging students. I think that students don't actually realize what kind of services and what kind of things that we offer them. And through this year, we've really tried to engage students through Frosh, through Arts Week, through a variety of special events that we've held. Not only that, but we've become a little bit more well-rounded, so we expanded to academic services, we extended to tutoring services, we extended also to health and well-being. So I think those are all very important issues that our students really care about, and I think we need to go a little bit beyond just social events and make this society more wholesome.
Fantastic. Jeff?
Well, basically, from my perspective and from students I've spoken to around campus, there seems to be a big feeling that the AUS doesn't necessarily always represent them and what they want out of arts. I think we need to have more open dialogue, more ways for students to interact with us and let us know exactly what it is that they want. A lot of people say they do want more social events to be here on campus, so that's something that I want to try and make sure that we provide. At the same time, a lot of students say they don't necessarily want to come to Mass because there's not always enough seating for during study times and all that, and that's another reason why, looking at it, we do need maybe a bigger space of some sort, which is why I'd like to look towards having a new building built. Those would be the two biggest factors that I see for the next year.
Okay. First of all, I'd like to go on record that I'm using my phone for taking notes and not texting people. The AUS has done a phenomenal job over the past year to brand itself. We've come a long way. We've branded ourselves very well. In terms of visibility, we've come out wherever. You'll see the arts tent out there. You'll find Arts Week. We branded it very well. And Student Life Committee did a really good job. Promotions did a really good job of it. However, I feel like what we're lacking is we're not engaging students at a deeper level. What we're engaging students with is a brand and not quality of engagement. So an example would be during Arts Week, we focused a lot on branding Arts Week. Everyone knew that there is Arts Week going on. Arts Week is going on. You ask anyone, oh yeah, I got an umbrella from Arts Week. Merchandise is being given out. Everyone has the pamphlets with all the events going on, but people didn't really know what events are happening at what time. Clubs weren't engaging them. So what I feel the AUS should focus on over the next year is helping clubs gain more visibility on campus. How do we help clubs gain visibility on campus? Is by trying to make them compete more within council. To generate this competitive nature, I propose to initiate an inter-arts club competition where all the clubs, they'll be competing year-round. There'll be a points-based system given, being coordinated by one, will delegate it to somebody, and you have points being delegated to them, say, how many AUS events did you come out to? How many AUS events did you volunteer? How many events did you brand using AUS logo? How did you engage students? Did you do a philanthropic event? Did you do an advocacy event? Such things. Creating such a competition and then having an AUS honor roll within the AUS Council is going to generate a very, very competitive nature. By doing that, clubs get more competitive. Students seeing clubs getting more competitive. Once they're competitive enough, students want to get more involved. The higher the involvement, the more students we're going to reach out to. Currently, voter turnout reflects how much we're engaging students in, and this has to change.
Great answers. So my next question, you have a big picture goal. What role do you see yourself as president taking with your VPs? How engaged will you be with them, and how will you lead your executive to accomplish the most that you can over the next 12 months? And I think it's Jeff's turn to start.
Okay, well, basically, I would want to try and work as closely as possible with the executive team to try and streamline any processes that we can, try and make things smoother and easier for students and for clubs. Part of my idea with having events every Friday, it involves having, say, a beer garden every second week at Mass. To that end, I would want to have someone in position that would be having all the paperwork ready for clubs so that they just need to sign off and promote, and everything else is taken care of basically. I want to work as closely as possible with the clubs and executives from the clubs, and try and keep an open dialogue so that we're basically just continuously moving forward.
Sorry, can I ask for a clarification? What did you mean by clubs will just sign off and that everything will be taken care of?
Basically just with like the special event licenses, classroom services, sign-offs and all that. Basically having the paperwork ready for them so that they don't have to worry about confusion about how do I fill this out properly. Running around to try and find someone who's filled it out before and hopefully getting it into the RCMP office and having it not be rejected or anything like that because they didn't cross an T or dot an I type thing.
So you're suggesting that AUS does all of the paperwork for all the clubs?
Not all of the paperwork, but a majority of it can be taken care of in a generic fashion.
Harrison?
Okay. So as president, the role I see the president doing is more of a holistic approach. But then what I'd like to propose the future president, a challenge I'd like to propose to the president, is not leading as an individual, but as a team. The one thing I feel the AUS is lacking right now is that the relationship between students and the AUS, as counselors, coordinators, and the AUS, is not reciprocating. It's only one way. We're giving a lot of service to students. However, we're not getting as much in return. What I mean by that is, while we're serving students on campus, while we're serving art students, we should also be getting something out of it. It's a learning process. Why should we just keep serving and not gain any knowledge while doing it, the whole process? So working as a team, engaging the whole team, collaborating with the team, working together towards one vision, having a cohesive team is what I see the new president doing. If the new president can maintain a very cohesive team over the next year, I feel like any vision, any goal can be overcome, and it will be a successful year. Thank you.
Okay, so having worked on the executive team, I was really blessed to have such an amazing team and such an amazing president, actually. I think the main reason why things went as well as it did this year was that we had a really open line of communication. We were not only colleagues, but we were friends. And I think that is really important to be able to share that information. Whenever something happened, we would message each other and let each other know what's going on. Sometimes we just grab dinner and talk about AUS. And I think that it's just we need a comfortable and safe environment for the executives to really approach AUS things, and not just through executive meetings, but really on a personal relationship basis. So I think that having learned from just my wonderful executive team, I think that I have learned the right approach to really manage a team and really give them the freedom to do what they want to do. I don't think it's the president's job or really anybody's job to control what the coordinators do or what the VPs do. I think it's really helping them realize overall vision for AUS, and then it is really up to each VP and each coordinator to take that as their own and brand it as the way they would want AUS to be.
So we've talked about the big picture of the society. Can you tell me about one goal that you have, and what portfolio it's under, and how you would work with that VP to accomplish the goal? So I think it's Harsef's turn to start.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay, the one thing I'd like to achieve with the team, if I do get elected, is working towards getting clubs more involved on council. As it is, clubs are not very active on council. They just come, meetings go really quickly. You see very, very little participation on council, and I feel like that is a huge problem. If we are not engaging our clubs, how are we engaging students at large? We need to engage our clubs, then engage students. So what I propose is, first of all, the portfolio that it would come under would be VP External. And what I propose, one, is to have an arts agenda. Now, what the arts agenda will be, for example, it'll have a message from the dean, it'll have a message from the Arts Undergrad Society, and then we're going to give a space to each and every club, give a page to each and every club and tell them, okay, here, you have one page where you can put in your bio, your contact information, the execs, what you do, what you wish to accomplish in 1 year. Say they could also add in coupons in there for maybe some of their events that are going to be, some of their upcoming events. Say present a coupon and you get $5 off a cover. By doing that, you're increasing visibility for clubs. Increasing visibility, you're indirectly pushing clubs to get more active. The more visibility clubs get, the more students want to get involved. More students want to get involved, the more energetic clubs are, and the more spirit there is, the more art spirit there is. Another thing with working with clubs, like I said earlier, is the Inter-Arts Club Competition. The Inter-Arts Club Competition, as I said, it's a very competitive thing. Have a trophy at the end of the year, have an AUS honor roll, make it very prestigious for clubs to want it. You have that, you have a very high engaged council. Another thing that I feel we should work as AUS as a whole is consolidating our emails. We have a lot of clubs emailing each and every student. They have a lot of mailing lists. Each and every club has their own mailing list. And you'll have, most of the times you'll have at least one student who has maybe they're subscribed to at least 4 to 5 emails. When a student starts getting 4 to 5 emails a week, they're going to start moving them to the spam folder. They're not going to read them. And so messages are not getting out there. As AUS, why don't we have a mailing list from the AUS? Gather all the information from all clubs, put it on one mailing list, Arts Undergraduate Society, and say, this is the update from, say, International Relations, update from PSSA. These are the events that they're holding. There's a recruitment, job fair. Have everything under one email going out. You increase presence. Students know that the Arts Undergrad Society is there. It's actually doing something. And yeah, that is my main point for that.
Awesome.
I just had a question actually on your point for the agenda.
Yes.
Basically, it sounds a lot like just having the AMS agenda because the clubs are all listed in there as well. I'm curious, would this be something where students would have to pay for it? And if it is a giveaway as well, where the money is going to come from?
That's a good question. And thank you for bringing it up. Like I said earlier, AUS has focused a lot on branding AUS. Like, we are branding AUS and not the work that AUS is doing. By doing, I feel like the AUS branding budget, there is some way, working with the VP Finance, I'll be able to adjust something there, and it'll be able to come out from that budget. We also have, I may be wrong, I have to go check on this, but I believe we have a budget, a line item for the underground, even though it was removed. I have to check on this, don't quote me on this, but I'm sure with the VP Finance I can work something around. Look at it this way, we're not branding AUS directly, we're branding it indirectly.
Can I just comment from having worked on the AUS, the agenda was part of my platform last year. I've looked into it. The amount of money required for us to get a sufficient amount of agendas for art students is equivalent to maybe twice what we spend on Frosh. Just throwing that out there. It's not branding. I've worked on branding committee. We did branding. That's then like a fraction of what we would spend on agenda. So taking all that branding money, even if we took all that branding money, it still would not be enough. Because if you're going to be making agendas, you need to make them for enough to give to all art students, or at least a good fraction of them.
It's a pilot proposal, and I'm not saying that we're going to give it to each and every student. We're going to give it to first-year incoming students to begin with. Building on that, we can start building our portfolio. I've done sponsorship. I've brought a lot of sponsorship into AUS. Working on sponsorship is not a big deal. We can work on sponsorship. I can work with the sponsorship coordinator. It comes under the same portfolio for VP External. And I believe where there's a will, there's a way. And we can get it done.
We're back to Jenny on the original question of your most important goal for the year and how you would execute that goal.
Well, my goal for the year is simple. It's to serve the students. And I don't mean that by just providing them services or giving them things. I think students have a really positive experience from working within the AUS as well. I've gotten endless feedbacks from those who have volunteered, saying that they met friends, they had new experiences, and those are things that they would have never gotten without working within the AUS. So how did we? AUS has been lacking in getting volunteers, but this year we really pushed it forward by using different outlets. So one was that we really got students engaged through Frosh. Another is that we started doing things like posting these positions as actual jobs on Careers Online. Even though it is not paid, students see this as an excellent volunteer opportunity. Another thing is that we treat our volunteers very well. It's very organized. We have proper appreciations, and we have schedules and everything set up, so volunteers feel that they are appreciated and we do take their work seriously. So from that kind of point of view, I would really like to expand on that by having students provide more services for other students. Those who wish to get involved, AUS is the perfect outlet for that, and those who wish to just get back what they need from their society, we're there for them too.
Okay, I guess that leaves me now. My big goal for the year is actually just having the AUS have a better face to the art students, basically. A lot of things I've heard from students is that they don't feel the AUS always represents them. That comes from us needing more feedback from them as to how we can serve them better, how we can do our jobs better so that they do feel properly represented. So it would be a matter of doing as both of you suggested, actually. It's a lot of working with the clubs. It's a lot of working with finding new ways to get volunteers and get them excited about coming out and wanting to be a part of this. I think in a way it's not so much a rebranding as in making new logos or anything like that, but it's a rebranding for the council basically to make themselves more open and available to the average art student that doesn't feel like they're a part of anything at this point. So that would be my biggest goal. That would probably include working with VP Internal, Student Life, and just with the clubs in general as well. So.
Awesome. All right, I think I'm going to take my last two questions and change them a bit to be one question. So the president is really the spokesperson of the AUS. What connections do you think you need to make across campus, and what role do you play on the AMS as president? I don't know who we're starting with now. Jenny? I think Harso started the, yes, yep. Jenny's turn.
Okay, so I think it's really important because usually the person that other organizations deal with is the president, and as a president you do represent AUS, so I think you really do have to have an idea of what AUS stands for and how to best represent it. With that said, I think the AMS, we work very closely with the AMS and we have amazing AMS reps, but I do think that we definitely need to make our presence known. We need to let AMS know that we're the biggest faculty, we're a huge stakeholder, and to really just advocate for arts-centered issues and really getting arts student participation. We've been working really hard this year on collaborating on Block Party as well as a variety of other events with AMS to really try to get arts students engaged. Other things such as other faculties as well as alumni, I think are all really important. I know this year the executive committee has been working really hard with the dean's office because as art students, the dean's office is really, they determine what kind of things we get and how our experience is really made. So I think by working really closely with the dean's office, we can find a common ground for both art students and faculty to really enjoy the most out of the arts faculty.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question, please?
Yes, so as the spokesperson of the AUS, what connections do you need to make across campus, and what is the president's role within the AMS?
Connections across campus would definitely be reaching out to the other faculties. There's an opportunity there basically to learn from them with what they're doing right, and at the same time maybe teach them a little bit of what we're doing right so that everybody's coming out of it in a win situation. As well, there's the opportunity to reach out to some of the fraternities and sororities to basically be like, hey, why don't we do cross-branding as well for some events and all that, and see what we can do to work together as well in that capacity. As to the role on the AMS Council, basically I would see it as being extremely important to have a face there and have a voice that's, as Jenny said, advocating for more arts-centered or related topics and things going on, basically. And getting involved with some of the committees that they have, and seeing what we can also learn from the AMS, from what they're doing right, that we can adapt to the arts faculty as well.
Okay, so like Jenny and Jeff, I feel like as president of the Arts Undergrad Society, there are a few institutions that we need to maintain relations with. One of them is the alumni, of course. Alumni are important because they can bring back funding to us. There's a lot of resources that can come back from alumni, and we've seen a lot of this happen. Have also, like Jeff said, the Greek system. Greek system has been left out with a lot of things. Greek system has a lot of students out there. They do a lot of philanthropic events. They do so many sports events. They're all over campus. All the rec events are flooded with the Greek system. We don't have any arts teams there. Why don't we partner with them? Speaking about sports, I was talking to one of the football coaches of UBC, David Benefield, and he told me that his team has over 60% of students who are art students. And none of the art students come out to cheer for them whenever they have a game. So he said that he feels very bad that whenever he crosses the border and goes to the States, pride from the campus is way more, like, it's crazy. The groups are really small, but the pride that they have for their sports teams is immense. UBC does not have that. Sports teams on this campus are lacking that. I feel like as a president, we need to tap into that resource, that institution. Sports teams can be used to, they have a lot of our representation, like I said. Another institution that we really need to engage with is AMS. AMS, we do a lot of things with them. Currently, we're partnering, we're trying to help them with promoting the block party, inter-club, inter-constituency relations, maintaining them as well is very important. However, I feel like the most fundamental person that a president needs to keep in touch with and engage with is the student. At the end of the day, we need to remember, we, as members of the AUS, are here to represent the student and no one else. What the student wants, the issues of the student, that is what the next president should focus on. Thank you.
So I think that wraps us up for questions. I will let each of the candidates close off the debate with one final statement of why people should vote for you. So we will start with Arsef. Sure. I have no
We
idea
love your
where we
voice,
are.
so you know.
Sure. I love my voice too. To begin with, I'm going to tell you a story. Last summer, I worked with a company called Canadian Property Stars, and what I was doing was I was going door to door selling aerations. I was doing people's lawns, and I got the job at the end of the season. And because I got the job at the end of the season, I did not get any training. I was just thrown out there and told, okay, Harsev, go out and sell. So my first day, I only earned $60, but I kept making a lot of observations on how to sell. The person's lawn is brown, doesn't have an expensive car, so they can't afford the price I'm going to give them. There are so many different aspects that I picked up from the 2 weeks that I actually did work there that I came and implemented with my social committee in the AUS. What I implemented was the aspect of observation. Observation is key. When I started collecting as an individual, I was making observations and I just started gaining more skills on selling. My sales became better. What I thought of in the social committee was to come at the end of every committee meeting. I had 5 minutes, gave everyone 5 minutes. I told them, I want you to tell me your problem. Tell me where the problem is going with this council. If you have a problem with me, say it right now. If you think my emails are bad, if you think I'm not doing my promotions well, I want you to tell me so that I know that I have to improve in this particular area. Translating it into being a president. What I'm trying to say is, the president's role next year has to be to have a very, very cohesive team, a team that is going to learn from each other and work towards one team. I am already very passionate about it. My fellow candidates are already very, very passionate about it. But the most important thing is to have a team that's going to work together towards one vision, one goal, and achieve it. That is why I think you need to vote for me, Harseth. Thank you.
Awesome, Jenny.
Okay, so I think both of the other two candidates are, they have their own vision, and I think they have qualities that I really admire. But I believe that the lack of institutional knowledge is really like the deciding factor between what makes a society successful versus not so much. The thing that I fear most is history repeating itself. Harseth brought up some good points about making clubs compete, making them branding themselves as AUS. 2 years ago, this was exactly what the VP Finance did. It was not very well received by the clubs. A lot of uproar and a lot of division between the AUS and the clubs. And I think that we're at such a good place that we need to just appreciate each other for who we are and celebrate that individuality. I mean, being on internal committee, we worked at seeing how can we reward clubs, and I think this is a way that by giving out awards at the end, letting clubs know that we're going to give out awards for most charismatic club, most active club. I think that encourages them as opposed to making them compete with each other. We're not competitors. We're no matter like who we are or what we believe in. I think we are one society, and I think that is really important to retain that uniformity, because being the largest faculty also means that it is hard. It's the hardest thing is to keep us together, and I think that it is the president's job to really keep council together, keep council engaged, but most of all, know that learn from our mistakes and not to make them again. I think that we are really progressing as a society, and there's nowhere to go but up, but we cannot keep making the same mistakes. I think having the clubs together is just the clubs give us so much already that I don't expect anything else from them. If anything, I think that the AUS should be giving more back to them. We should be offering them support. We should be asking them, how can we help in your branding? How can we make you be more special than you already are? So I think that is just what's really important. So I believe that you guys should vote for me because I'm really passionate about the society, and having been here for 3 years, I know which way to take the society, and I know what to do in order to make us the best society at UBC. Thank you.
Well, as for me, basically, you guys have said a lot. You've said it all, basically. I don't know really how to add to that. It's going to be a lot of work for whoever does become president. It's going to be a lot of getting more involvement by way of working more with the clubs, by way of working more with the different faculties on campus as well, and getting to connect with them and with the AMS. And basically, I just see this as an opportunity to do more, to be bigger and better, and keep moving forward. That's the opportunity that we have right now in front of us, and no matter who wins, I think it's going to be a good win for the AUS here because everybody's pretty passionate about things. So I basically just wanted to finish with good luck to everybody that's running in the US election, and hopefully you'll vote for me as well. All right.
Awesome. So that wraps it up. Thanks so much to all of our candidates.